Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Dear student of second secondary, we are going to make a revision for April exam. Okay, we have different questions that coming from the Ministry of Education. Let's start with, we have 10 questions. We will discuss each of them together. Okay, let's start. Question number 1 says that choose the correct answer. The water molecule consists of H1, we have the atomic mass of hydrogen and oxygen 8. Also we have the atomic mass of oxygen. The electrons in this molecule is, okay, if you are looking to the molecule of water, okay, we have here oxygen molecule, and we have in the outer energy level we have 4 pairs of electron giving 8 electrons. Okay, we have 2 pairs here in the drawing, unpaired we have 2 pairs of electrons unpaired, and we have 2 pairs making a pair of electron. Only we have one here and the other is here. So what is the right answer here? We have one bond pair and one lone pair. The second one lone pair and 3 lone pair. Third one we have 2 bond pair and 2 lone pair. 2 bond pair and 3 bond lone pair. Okay, we have here no one, they are 2 bond pair and 2 lone pair giving 4 electrons. Okay, we have here 2 bond pair forming 4 and 2 lone pair here we have forming 4, and they giving 8 electrons at the end, forming the octet rule. Okay, let's going to question 2, or we have the order from 16, starting from 16. Okay, let's going to question 17. Question says that it is the second question on the exam. We have the melt of the compound which is the most conduct of electricity is. Okay, if you are want to make the conduct of electricity, we will see the choices here. We have the elements that of a group 1A that forming a compound NaF, sodium fluoride, potassium fluoride, rubidium fluoride, and cesium fluoride. Okay, all these compounds are belongs to the only one group, group 1A. Okay, what are the properties that belongs to this group? Okay, we have here in the group 1A we have sodium, potassium, rubidium, cesium. As we go from up to down in the group 1A, what happened to it? Atomic size increases, so the electronegativity decreases, and the difference in electronegativity between the elements of the fluorine has high electronegativity. It is common in the all choices, but here we have sodium, potassium, rubidium, cesium. The higher one in electronegativity, or the higher one in atomic size, it is the lower one in electronegativity, so it make a big difference between the fluorine and cesium. Okay, so it is the greatest difference here in the last one. Okay, and the conduction of electricity depend on the difference in electronegativity, so it is most in the electronegativity between cesium and fluorine, so it is the right answer here in letter D. Okay, let's going to question 18, the third question of the exam. Okay, we have here element X and Y. We have element X, its electronegativity 3, and element Y, its electronegativity 2.1. From the previous table, the bond X dash Y is, okay, we want to measure the electronegativity between them. The choices here we have polar covalent, non-polar covalent, ionic, and hydrogen. What is the difference? How we can calculate it? Difference in electronegativity equal X minus Y. So we have 3 minus 2.1 giving 0.8. Okay, so it is a polar covalent bond. Okay, as the difference in electronegativity 0.9, difference in electronegativity less than 1.7 and more than 0.4 make the covalent bond is a polar covalent. So the right answer will be letter A. The right answer will be letter A. Let's going to question 19. Okay, we have here question 19, depending on some properties coming from the first term. We have two elements x and y. The quantum number for the last electron of both of them are x 3 1 -1 and -half. Okay, y 3 0 0 and +half. So the chemical formula of the compound is, we want to get the chemical formula for this compound. We have x to y, y to x, xy, and y to x2. Okay, the beginning of x and y depending on the kind of element. If we start with a metal, so if it is a ionic compound as common, we start with the cation, positive charge, and followed by the anion. So we will start with the metal one and followed by the non-metal. If we have the two non-metal, we put as the common between them, or depending on the property of them. Okay, we have x the first one. Okay, x the first one, 3 1 -1 -half. So what we will know, 3 it is the principal quantum number, subsidiary quantum number, and mechanical magnetic quantum number, and spin quantum number. Okay, we have here each one. We have 3 in the principal quantum number, so we are in the energy level number 3. Okay, we will make electronic configuration 1s2, 2s2, 2b6, 3s1, 3b. We will stop at 3b. Why? We will said we have subsidiary quantum number will be L equal 1, so we are in sublevel B, and magnetic quantum number we have -1, so we have only one electron take the opposite charge in this direction. Okay, we have here Ml, and -half means that we are discussing about the non-metal. Okay, we have here 3b, we have 4 electrons. Okay, we have 4 electrons in B. We are in B, coming from 1 here. We have 4 electrons in the outermost energy level, and one opposite here, -1. So it is a divalent, as it has -half. It is a non-metal. It is a non-metal here that has 4 electrons in the outermost energy level, and 4 and 2 equals 6 in the outer. So it is what? It is a divalent. The other one, element Y, 3 0 0 plus half. Okay, so the N, we are also in the 3 energy level. 0 means that we are in the S block, and 0 that we have only one electron that coming up, not down. And we have plus half means that we are talking about what? About metal. So it is an metal, and it's, so we have 3s1 and one electron only. Also this is monovalent. So the chemical formula will be, we will make exchange here. We will start with the metal, the monovalent Y, and the non-metal divalent X. So we make exchange for valences. So the chemical formula will be letter A X, letter B, sorry, letter B, Y2X. Okay, this is the right answer, Y2X. Okay, let's go into question 20. Okay, we have question 2 says that if you know that we have chlorine 17, sulfur 16, phosphorus 15, and silicon 14, the most polar compound is we have BH3, phosphorus trihydride, sulfur silicon tetrahydride, HCl hydrogen chloride, and H2S hydrogen sulfide. Okay, if we want to know the most polar compound is depending on what we have the elements. Sulfur, we will have silicon 14, phosphorus 15, sulfur 16, and chlorine 17. If we go from right to left, right to left, by increasing the atomic number here, the atomic radius will be decreases, so the electronegativity increases. Okay, if the electronegativity increases, so chlorine has highest one in electronegativity, make a difference between it and H, so it is the most polar compound. Okay, the most polar compound that has highest electronegativity, so the difference in electronegativity between chlorine and hydrogen is the greatest one, so the right answer will be letter C. Okay, let's going to question 21. Question 21 says that by using phosphorus 15, chlorine 17, hydrogen 1, oxygen 8, nitrogen 7, carbon 6, and aluminium 13, all of the following compounds are fulfill of the octet rule except. Okay, means it's occupy or apply on the octet rule except. We have BCl3, AlCl3, CO2, and NH3. Let's discuss each one of the choices. We have the first one, BCl3. If we study the figure in front of you, we will see that chlorine surrounds with 8 electrons here. Also, phosphorus in the middle, we have 1 lone pair and 3 bond pair, so it occupy the octet rule. Okay, let's going to question B. Okay, choice B, we have aluminium. Aluminium surrounds by 6 only what? Only electrons. Okay, we have 3 in the outermost energy level, and they are surrounded by 6. Aluminium in the center, surrounded by 6. So it not occupy or not apply or not fulfill the octet rule. The third one here, we have carbon dioxide. Carbon dioxide also, carbon surrounded by 4 bond pairs, okay, and oxygen surrounded by 2 bond pair and 2 lone pair. The last one here, we have ammonia. Ammonia, nitrogen surrounded by 8 electrons, so it occupy or fulfill the octet rule. Okay, so the right answer will be letter B. The right answer will be letter B. Okay, let's going to question 22. Question 22 says that the elements X, Y, Z, and W, their electronic configurations are ended as follows. Okay, we have the electronic configuration. X ended with 4s1, Y ended with 3s2, Z ended with 3b4, and W ended with 2b5. Okay, the compound which is the highest in melting point is, okay, we have YW2, YZ, X2Z, and XW. Okay, if we make the difference in electronegativity, the compound that has high melting point, is strong in the ionic bond. So the compound with the highest melting point is the strong in ionic bond. Okay, if we make highest difference in electronegativity, so element X here is a metal that has 1 electron in the outermost energy level, so it will be high as in group 1A, so it is a strong metal. If we compared with Y, we have here it is in group 2A, so the metal strongest one will be in group 1A, 4s1. Okay, also W, we have, if we compare between the two Z and W, we have 3b4 and 3b5, so we have 2b5, W non-metal in group 7A. Okay, So if we make the bond between X and W, if we make a bond between X and W, one in group 1A and the other in group 7A, so the difference in electronegativity between them will be high, so the compound will be what will be XW. The compound will be XW. We take the first one in the group 1A and we take the last one in group 7A as metal and non-metal, so the difference in electronegativity between them will be high and it will be highest in the melting point. Okay, let's going to question 23. Question 23 says that the compound X, Y and Z and W, melting point of each one we have 747 degrees Celsius, Y 801 degrees Celsius, Z 660 degrees Celsius and W 993 degrees Celsius. From the previous table, the compound which is the least conductor of electricity is, okay, which one will be the least conductor of electricity, X, Y, Z or W? Okay, we said that the least one in electronegativity that has what? That has low melting point. Okay, the compound that least conductor of electricity, that it is the weakest in the ionic bond, weakest in the ionic bond. So the least in melting point, okay, what it is here, Z will be, the compound will be Z, okay, as its melting point 660 degrees Celsius. So if we have element or compound that has low melting point, so it will be the least one in conducting electricity. The element Z is the right answer. We have the least one in conducting electricity is the one that has low melting point. If we want to know the compound with highest electronegativity or highest electric conductivity, we will see that W, it is the strongest one that make ionic bond, so it will conduct electricity very high. Okay, as we said that W has highest melting point, so highest melting point means that it has high ionic bond, so it will conduct electricity with high amount. Okay, let's going to question 24. Question 24 says that we have the compound halothane. Halothane, it is a compound that consists of two carbon atoms in the middle, surrounded by three fluorine, one boron, one chlorine, and hydrogen at the end. Okay, so its formula, the most polar bond in this compound is, okay, we will take the organic compound and we will see the structure of different elements. We have the compound or bond between CH, CF, CCl and CBr. Okay, we want to know the most polar bond will be. Okay, if we make the difference between them, or if we can see that we have the most polar bond, so that it will be biggest difference in electronegativity. Okay, if we know that we coming or we make a bond high difference in electronegativity between each one, okay, hydrogen, fluorine, chlorine, bromine. Okay, we know that from the highest one in electronegativity, as we taken before, we have in the strongest non-metal, we start with fluorine, chlorine, bromine, iodine, and we have the greatest one in electronegativity will be fluorine, so the bond which has most polar bond will be has highest electronegativity in the compound or in the bond CF, in the bond CF. So the right answer will be letter B. Okay, let's going to the last question of our choices. We have question 25. Question 25 says that from the previous compound the two elements X, Z are, okay, we have here element X and element Z. Element X carry one lone pair and element Z make a four bonded pairs. So we have here 8 electrons, but X here make a 3 bonded 1 lone pair. So X will contain what? Least number of electrons than what? Than Z. As we said before, we have here 1 lone pair unbonded. Okay, so X precede Z in the same period. Okay, Z precede X in the same period, X precedes Z in the same group, and Z precedes X in the same group. So if we wanted to know what is the first and followed by the other, we said we have here 4 bonded, so we are talking about the element that only contain the 4 electrons in the outer, but here we have 3 in the outer. Okay, X like nitrogen, that it contain or it surrounds with trivalent. It is a trivalent as it has 3 bonded pairs and 1 lone pair. Okay, also Z like carbon, it is a tetravalent, so it surrounds with a 4 electrons that all of them make a bonded. So we have Z here. Okay, Z precede X in the same period. Z precede X in the same period, as Z is a carbon with 6 and nitrogen 7. So Z precedes X in the same period or coming before it. So the right answer will be letter B. Okay, that is the end of our groups of choices today. Okay, I hope you enjoy this kind of questions. Please, if you have any problem in solving questions, leave them below the table, or in asking for any questions you can communicate with any way of communication that we have on that YouTube or Facebook. Okay, thank you and good luck.